Hello and welcome to Chocolate for Breakfast. I'm actually redoing, for anybody that saw the video yesterday, I'm actually redoing the video that I did yesterday for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't really like showing anger in that way, and I had seen this image of this starving child a few days before, and it was kind of eating me up, I have to admit. And I don't really like using a lot of swear words and stuff, so that's the first part. I mean, the idea of these videos is to help you, not scare you away. The other thing is, I would say openly attacked certain companies, and while I remain, I don't know how to say it in English, I remain in my position of what I actually think about these companies, and I'm not afraid that they would hear that I'm making these videos and openly speaking about them. But I also think, if we have to be fair, they are in fact part of a chain, okay? And it's maybe unfair to pinpoint them directly. So, you know, this is the other reason why I decided to remove the video and do a remake. We are in a society, we do have a huge problem. On one hand, on one side of the world, we have people who are extremely obese to the point of not being able to walk. Where they have to have machines to help them get around, mechanical wheelchairs, etc., to help them get around, because their bodies cannot carry them. There's too much body mass, and they don't have the muscles necessary, and you know, it's too painful for them to walk. They're handicapped, basically. As I was, to a point. I wasn't at the point of needing a wheelchair, but I was having difficulty walking, as I explained previously. The other side of the world, we have people who are starving to death, who have nothing to eat. And yeah, this for me, it's a huge economical, a huge societal, and a huge sociological problem. Excuse me, it's quite early in the morning. You know, for me, there are certain things that could be done, okay? But again, this is not exactly the idea of these videos. These videos are to help people who are in bad health. Those people who are starving are also in bad health. But, you know, to help you lose weight, by making you aware of certain things. And again, I am going to repeat the fact that the involvement of money in our society means that the information we are getting, and this is why I keep saying to you, question what's being told to you, because a lot of the time what's being told to you is being financed by people who have their interest in that scientists or nutritionists or doctors or the governments will say certain things in order for them to carry on selling their products. And I think this is something that's really, really important to know, but in the sense of, don't just take for granted what's being said to you. And which kind of brings me to the real crux of today's video. What is the difference between a starving child in Africa scavenging for food? And I'm not going to bring out the image again. I showed it in the video yesterday. Okay, we know what starving children in Africa look like. This child had sores all over his or her body. The bones were showing through the skin, and this child was scavenging for food. very young child, I imagine. Although it's very hard to know the age of these children, because they're suffering so much from malnutrition that their growth is actually stunted, so it's difficult to tell. I would imagine this child was around the age of my children, so around between 5 and 10 years old. So the question is, what's the big difference between a starving child in Africa and an obese child in the Western world? And I'm not going to pinpoint the United States because the problem is becoming global. What is the difference? Well, for me, there isn't very much difference, in the sense of the starving child in Africa, or whatever poor country that happens to be, is suffering from severe malnutrition. The obese child, to my mind, and from what I've studied, is also suffering from severe malnutrition, but on a completely different level. To talk about the obese side of the world, we are living, as I mentioned, I mean, I said this in the video yesterday, but I do prefer to present things in a more calm manner. Yeah, so that I don't put you off, basically. The problem with the society that we live in now is we're living on a diet of refined, processed foods that are almost devoid of vitamins. And what I said in the video yesterday, and I maintain that, other opinions might differ, but I maintain what I say, in that our bodies have a natural capacity of desiring the foods where we're going to find the vitamins necessary to maintain our life. Now, if you're used to eating a diet of refined processed foods with lots and lots of additives and added sugar and added whatever, who knows what, in the foods, these foods being almost completely devoid of vitamins, if your body is claiming vitamin C, for example, you're gonna go for those foods. If those are the foods that you eat, you're going to go for those foods, but in order to get the amount of vitamins that are necessary, you're going to have to eat a hell of a lot of these foods, a huge amount of these foods, in order to cover your daily needs. Okay, now again, the way I eat is not based on portion control. Okay, I don't weigh my food. I again, I keep coming back to the story of the 300-gram steak. The day that I ate that steak, I needed it. I felt, I want a steak. There's something in the steak that I need. It might have been iron. It might have been, I don't know, whatever vitamin. It might have just been the protein that was necessary, or that kind of protein that was necessary to me. Sometimes, I want chicken. Sometimes I want eggs. Sometimes I want to make ratatouille because something in the ratatouille, or I've got a craving, in a sense, for garlic. Those foods are bringing me something. So the day that I ate that 300-gram steak, I was eating it because I actually needed it. And again, it's not something I do every day, but if over a couple of days I felt that I needed to do that, and I felt that that was doing my body good, then I would do it. Okay, I don't have any scruples. So like I say, I don't go for the portion control. Before you start thinking, well, she's going on about the amounts that we eat, so she's going to say eat less. I'm not going to say eat less. I'm going to say let's eat better. And again, in the video that I made yesterday, I said that I intended on conducting a little experiment. And I actually started doing this yesterday evening, and I did it online, basically because the foodstuffs that people normally would buy, I wouldn't buy. So I'm not going to go to the supermarket and buy all this stuff. It would actually just sit in my cupboard, because these foods don't attract me anymore, in a sense. So I've been doing this little experiment, and I've not finished. I've looked, first of all, at the prices. Now what I said I would do is have a look at the prices of what it would cost to do a kind of normal shopping, you know, the stuff that people normally buy, and take into account the things that I would buy normally in the organic shop. Now I'm not advocating organic as such. I will be speaking about organic foods because organic foods can be good, but it depends also what you buy. There are also organic refined foods. There are organic processed foods. Okay, the processing and the refining is perhaps slightly different, maybe in a more natural way, but it's still refined and processed. Okay, so I'm really basing this experiment on the things that I would buy. Okay, now at the moment I've got the supermarket list. So I've based this on a family of 4. Okay, and based it. I mean, I used to buy my shopping in this way, so I've got a fairly good idea, and this would be maybe more of the French way of eating. So I don't know, maybe if you have the possibility of sending me your shopping lists, and I can have a look at that would be interesting. I would like to experiment and really get an idea, because a lot of people think eating healthily, eating naturally costs more. Okay, for the moment. Okay, so the first part of the experiment is actually buying the food. Okay, and like I say, I've done all of this online. In the ordinary supermarket for a week, okay, I'm counting roughly for a week, I have a total of €261.40. Okay, buying the normal stuff, the cereals, the cookies, the low-fat yogurts, the sweeteners, the you know, the stuff that the French would normally buy. I didn't include wine. Maybe should have. And I did a similar thing, again based on a four-person family, in the organic shop, buying the things that I would normally buy. We have €268.98. So there is a difference at the moment of €7 for a week's shopping. Okay. Now, to further the experiment, because an experiment isn't, you know, you don't just do the first stage of an experiment. I'm actually going to further the experiment and actually make sure that the things that I have bought in the supermarket, so to speak, will actually be all used up. And if it's not all used up, I'll be taking things off the list and deducing that from the total of the bill. And vice versa, if there's not enough, I will add things. And I will do the same with the organic shop food list. And I'm going to kind of make up some menus and things like that, and then afterwards I would actually like to continue and maybe calculate the nutritional value of the meals with regards to these 2 different styles of shopping. And because a lot of people, you know, I mean, I have to admit, when you go to the organic shop, it is more expensive. So I will also do with the what I call the natural shopping. I will also do that in the supermarket and compare the prices. Okay, because if you're worried about your food bills, you think, oh God, she's going to tell us to go and, you know, go buy organic food, and I can't afford that. I completely understand, but we can find ways of you being able to eat very naturally, and still making it so that it's not so expensive. If you come to the Facebook group, I'm actually starting to post up some recipes and things like that, using the way that I eat. And like I say, I lost 45 kilos, so 90 pounds, a little bit over 90 pounds in fact, in under 8 months, by simply changing the way I'm eating and not buying into all of this processed food. The title of this video, Homo Sapiens to Homo Fatiens. The reason for this title is we are a species that, you know, any animal in the animal kingdom. We are made, in a sense, to eat the food that's readily available, okay? And up until really the 20th century, that remained to be true, okay? We did, I don't know how many thousands of years ago, invent agriculture. Agriculture, as you know, was not something that naturally existed. This is something that we implemented. Okay, and you know, human beings are extremely clever, we're extremely intelligent, we're extremely resourceful. The problem being our resources are not always used in a good way. What I would like to see with, for example, these big companies, these food giants, they have the resources. I would like to see them, and one of the reasons that I decided to redo the video is I was saying, let's boycott these guys, you know, let's, you know, do you know, if certain food chains, certain fast food chains, I'm not happy to eat at their fast food chains at the moment, personally, okay? Because I know that what they're selling is not good for me. And I'm kind of digressing here, but I will come back to what I was saying earlier. If they were to show in a very serious manner that they were taking care of people's health, and on a global basis, because they have the means to do that, if they were to do that, I would be happy to promote these companies, okay, and not say let's not go there anymore. So to come back to Homo sapiens and Homo fatiens. Homo sapiens, let's say ancient man, more ancient man, we are programmed to eat naturally. You know, we didn't have any choice. Like any animal in the animal kingdom, we ate what was there, okay? And nobody at the time was, you know, scales didn't exist. Nobody was like weighing out food and saying, "Oh, that's too much. You better, you know, slow down on the portions there," and whatever. You know, it kind of, if you really think about it logically, what we're doing is kind of ridiculous, you know, and even all these studies that are going into food and nutrition, it's like, well, just look at things kind of logically, and you know, very logically, what we're doing is not right. So we would eat what's readily available. Homo fatiens, I'll get around there. I'll get my tongue around it. Homo fatiens are still eating food that's readily available. Excuse me, I'm trying to get my cat to not walk on the keyboard because it will cut the video. Homo fatiens, well, we're still eating what's readily available. The problem being, of course, that what's readily available is in the supermarkets and in the hypermarkets. And it's, for the greater part, refined, processed, high sugar content. Let's not even, I would encourage you, I'm actually going to put the link to this video. Sugar, the Bitter Truth, a conference by Dr. Robert Lustig. I'm going to put it down underneath the video, the link to his video. Because we've been so obsessed with the high fat, you know, you have to reduce the fat, because, you know, fat, it goes round, you think, well, fat, it goes round your waist, it goes round your hips and everything. What's really the problem for us is not so much the fat content, especially the sugar content. And if you watch the video, if you do take time, Dr. Lustig explains in a much better way than I can, and again in the book I explain it, but in a very simple manner, and I have already explained this in previous videos. He explains in detail the biochemical processes in the body on how food is metabolized. So the thing is, Homo fatiens, so we're still eating what's readily available. It's just that what's available is making us completely obese, and we're still undernourished. So I'm not saying to boycott these people, But I wonder what their reaction would be if we were to actually say, well, look, we don't want to buy any of this anymore because it's damaging our health. We want you to come up with different solutions so that we can eat healthily and still buy your products. Okay? And for them to be really honest about what is and what isn't in the products, what's artificial and what's real. And I'm pretty sure that the loss of financial gain in doing that, and I'm not saying to boycott, you know, I do buy packets of biscuits on very odd occasions. You know, if it's a special time of the year, I'll have biscuits. I also make my own biscuits, and again, the Friday tip is going to be about making cooking easy, okay, and I'll be posting that up later on today. So I honestly believe that if they were to see that people don't want this anymore, they would be obliged to change what they're doing. They're either obliged to change or they're obliged to go out of business. Okay, and I'm pretty sure that human beings, being so resourceful as we are, can come up with solutions, and it would be a wonderful thing if we can come up with solutions on a global basis, so that we don't have the obese child suffering from malnutrition and we don't have the starving child suffering from severe malnutrition. Because if we're honest, there is actually enough to go round. There's enough for everybody, okay, if we decide to do that. And it's just a decision. You know, we have the transport means now, we can do it. And that's something I would very much like to see. And again, this is not the goal, the objective of these videos. Okay, these videos are here to help you in your quest to lose weight and lead a healthier lifestyle. But can we reasonably just think about ourselves? I'm not sure. You know, if we are humane beings, we can't just think about ourselves. We do have to think about the greater good for everybody. So that's something that I would like to see. And I don't see any reason why we can't do that. So I hope this has been helpful in some way. The next time you go to the supermarket, maybe think about, do I really need to buy these processed refined foods? You know, they are so readily available, but they're also a big part of the problem in our society today and in our health today. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, you can comment below. You can get in touch with us on the Facebook group, Facebook page. My email address will be underneath the video. The link to Dr. Robert Lustig's Sugar the Bitter Truth will also be underneath the video, and I very much encourage you to have a look at that. If you have any doubts, have a look at it. I will be speaking to you soon, and you know, join us. I would like that very much. Please take care, and here's to your very good health. Thank you. Bye bye.